Elhaji Cisse spent Friday sending hundreds of tweets as riots erupted in Senegal's capital Dakar. In one, he warned his followers that security forces were firing live rounds at protesters. Hours later, the 26-year-old was shot and killed. His death was one of at least 16 in Senegal's deadliest unrest in decades. His younger brother, Djimbala Ba, described Cisse as a good patriot.
If I say good patriot, I mean a good Senegalese. He was a good Senegalese who knew his rights and demonstrated them on the networks. He was very well known on Twitter.
Ba and 3 friends say Cisse was shot in the shoulder by security forces. He was yards from his home, having returned from the mosque. Cisse died in hospital. Security forces deny firing on protesters or using excessive force. But Cisse's Twitter profile that day serves as a mirror to the chaos and anger unleashed outside the walls of his compound. In some posts, he railed against a partial internet shutdown. In another, he offered first aid tips. Ba says Cisse was also helping on the ground as tear gas filled the streets.
It was Elhaji who helped an old man. He brought him here to us, gave him cream so that the old man could breathe. He was the one helping the elderly that day.
Senegal's protests erupted after opposition leader Ousmane Sonko was handed a 2-year jail sentence. That potentially bars him from standing in next year's presidential elections. Sonko supporters say the charges were politically motivated. They accuse President Macky Sall of seeking to sideline his opponents as well as failing to improve living standards or provide jobs. Thousands have taken to the streets. Cars and buildings have been set ablaze, supermarkets and gas stations ransacked, rocks hurled at security forces. Police have responded with tear gas and what rights groups described as excessive force. The government says 500 people have been arrested. Last week, Sall launched a national dialogue aimed at calming tensions. 2 nights after Cisse died, thousands of Senegalese Sufis gathered at a beachside mosque. They prayed through the night for peace in the country and justice for the victims. Ba stayed at home, struggling with the hole left by Cisse's death. His brother is someone he would spend all day with. It's impossible for me, he says. It's impossible to forget.